Hello, my friends. I would like to talk to you today about politics and religion. Ooh, spicy. No, actually, that's exactly what I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about this societal stigma, like the idea that we're not supposed to talk about politics and religion. I think we should be talking about these things at school, at work, with our friends, with our families, but that's divisive, isn't it? I think we need to take a long, hard look at why these things are considered divisive. I think the fact that the stigma exists is the very reason why it's so divisive. People have to retreat to the darkest corners of the internet and social media to get their information, and they find themselves in echo chambers. So the only real discourse we have are people loudly proclaiming their political beliefs on Facebook to people that would rather not be inundated by all that stuff, because it's impolite. Do you see the vicious cycle this perpetuates? If you're one of the few people that's been watching me on YouTube since like the mid-aughts, you know that my beat here used to be religion. And I think that was a direct result of my anger about being lied to for so long. I wasn't angry at my parents for raising me religious. I was angry at the cultural conditioning that was just default. That was normal. You take your kids to church. That's what you do. I think if there was more conversation about, the diversity of opinion regarding religion, and there was more wide acceptance of being of a different religion in the region of the country that I grew up in, or not having a religion, maybe I wouldn't be so angry. Because of that lack of discourse, I had to retreat to a circle of the internet where I felt comfortable, and that was the YouTube atheist community. Truthfully, I've evolved on religion. Don't get me wrong, I still think, I know, it's bullshit, but I'm not half so concerned about that anymore. I'm not as concerned about what someone believes so much as what they do with it, alright? I think people use religion as a tool to justify their behavior, whether it's for good or it's for bad. I was hyper-focused on the people that wielded their belief in Christianity or Islam or whatever to do evil, but the people that use it as a justification to do good are more ideologically aligned with me. I do still wish that people wouldn't do good in the name of religion. I feel that's a tad disingenuous, but at the end of the day, I don't really care so much why you do good anymore. As long as you're being a good person, what you believe on a personal level is really none of my concern. Of course, someone is totally capable of being a good person in this world without religion, which is something I'm totally comfortable saying even in public now. It wasn't like that when I was growing up, and that's because the discourse has evolved. For politics, we are not there yet. I ruffled some feathers in my last video, and I don't apologize for that, but I think the main reason is that people fundamentally don't understand what I believe. I am a progressive leftist in an American context. Of course, in a global context, my political beliefs are actually to the right of the standard leftists in Europe. But my viewpoint doesn't have any kind of representation despite being overwhelmingly popular, especially among the youth in America in corporate media. So, ultimately, all people understand is what is spoon-fed to them by the CNNs, by the Foxes of the world, that pretend like they're ideological opponents, but in reality, they're basically controlled opposition holding up corporate rule. I understand that, but since my viewpoint has no representation, people like me retreat to leftist communities where we engage with each other, but it's impolite for us to engage with anyone else because that would be divisive. So basically, those that believe as I do, which are arguably the majority of this country, are left screaming into the void in the name of civility, I guess. But it's not civil. This thought suppression, it's not polite, and make no mistake about it, it is not accidental. Because whatever religion means to you, whatever politics means to you on a personal level, make no mistake about it, the rich motherfuckers in charge, to them, it is just a marketing tool. Nothing more. It is a tool they use to keep us at each other's throats, so we don't look up at the motherfuckers oppressing us. And so long as we are not allowed to talk about it, we don't get to have discourse with each other, we don't see the humanity in each other, we don't realize that suffering does not know a religion, it does not know a race, it does not know a political affiliation, it is bipartisan, tripartisan, whatever. There are evil motherfuckers in this world, and they are on TV, and they are holding elected office, and they are absolutely thrilled that we have divided ourselves into little subsects, into little subcultures, and that we're constantly screaming at each other, and that we don't have a productive dialogue, so that we never question a goddamn thing about why motherfuckers are living in mansions, having the time of their life when there is so goddamn much suffering. It's not the fault of someone that doesn't believe like you. It's not the fault of someone who doesn't vote like you. So let's have a conversation, my friends. Let's talk about religion. Let's talk about politics. Let's talk about all the divisive stuff, the supposedly divisive stuff that separates us. Because there's no war but the class war. And it doesn't matter if you're liberal, conservative, Christian, Muslim, atheist, whatever. The rich motherfuckers in charge, they do not give a fuck about you. So at the very least, let's try to give a fuck about each other.